Welcome back. As we mentioned before, there are more than 200 animals at T&D's, including emus, goats, deer, wolves, coyotes, and wolf dogs, which are a cross between a domesticated dog and a wolf. All of these animals must be fed, and providing food is a major expense. There are 60 cats at the refuge, including bobcats, mountain lions, servals, tigers, and lions, just to name a few. These cats eat approximately 12,000 pounds of meat per month. That's the equivalent of 10 to 12 cows.
We do receive some help from farmers. If they have cows, horses, calves that die, they'll bring them over to help feed the animals. We also receive some roadkill deer, not a lot in the summer because of the heat.
The smaller cats will eat rodents, and they purchase chickens to feed them as well. As we toured the 35-acre facility, Jennifer and I talked in depth about the circumstances that cause an animal to be placed at T&D's. Even though there are laws and regulations, the exotic animal pet trade is a major contributing factor.
Some states, it is still legal for people to breed and sell these animals as pets. So legally you could purchase them in that state and they're legally yours. However, when you cross state lines, you need to have permission from that state to even just drive through the state. Even if you're flying, you still need to have all these permits. So when you bring it into your state, it might be legal in your state, but it might not be legal in your township, in your county. So they are regulated at all levels of government.
Since the regulations on the use and ownership of exotics vary by state, what may be legal in one location isn't legal in another. Many of the stories at T&D's are tales of animals caught in these variations in state regulations. Take this 6-month-old black bear, for example.
Somebody bought her legally in another state, but then brought her into Pennsylvania illegally and was keeping her as a pet illegally in the state. So she was confiscated and she was brought here.
Or these 3 Bengal tigers.
These came to us from a zoo in another state, and that state allows the public to get their pictures taken with different animals, including tigers. The state also has a regulation that says you can only use a tiger for 5 months, up until it's 5 months old. When the tiger is 5 months old, they obviously could keep the animal because they have the license to do that, but they can't have it out in the public anymore because they see that as a potentially dangerous animal.
Given the expense associated with keeping animals like these tigers, many so-called photo babies are put to sleep. If a zoo already has tigers, keeping more of them is not good business sense.
They don't need a 3rd or 4th one to impress anybody. You know, a tiger eats 800 pounds of meat a month, so it's very expensive to feed it and to house it.
There is also the misconception among owners of exotic pets.
We don't know the backgrounds of our animals, so a lot of times zoos are not going to take somebody's pet. And that's a misconception too, because a lot of people that get a tiger as a baby, they're like, oh, I'll just turn over to a zoo when it gets bigger. That's not going to happen, for the most part. I mean, you might find some place, but for the most part, they're not going to take them because, again, they already have 2. They don't know the background of the animal. They don't know what you did to it, what you fed it, how you treated it. And that's what happens here. You know, we get those animals, even if the private person that had the animal brings it to us, you know, to turn it over to us, you know, they're not going to say, hey, yeah, I smacked this animal around.
Providing a safe haven for these animals is what drives the Mativ family. Jennifer has even gotten involved in writing the most recent updates to our state's regulations on owning exotic animals.
There's got to be better regulations in the state. You know, we've got to do something to help these animals, and so that's kind of why I got involved with that and getting changes made. Not as strict as I wanted it to be, but it's much better than it was.
Right.
And then also within the state themselves and said we're not issuing new permits to people to have monkeys as pets. I mean, that's huge.
You can apply for a permit to own an exotic in Pennsylvania, but you must have 2 years of hands-on experience with that species in order to be eligible. You must also have the enclosure outside your home. The animal cannot live in your house. The 2-year experience clause was one that Jennifer fought hard to have instituted.
If you're going to have a bear for a pet, you know, 2 years experience working with bears is not a bad idea.
People who have their illegal exotic pets confiscated are fined, but there is no requirement that they pay any further money toward the care of the animal.
Not funded by the government or compensated to take the animals. It's our responsibility once they're here to provide them an enclosure and food and whatever for the rest of their lives.
Fortunately, there are people in the area who support T&Ds by volunteering time, donating money, food, and in some cases, materials.
We had a very nice surprise from Advanced Concrete Superior Walls outside of Middleburg. They called and said, we have some walls that can't be used for home construction. You know, they're either too big, the windows aren't in the right places or whatever. Can you use a building? So my dad's like, yeah. So this building down here is going to be for some monkeys that are inside that aren't out on exhibit yet just because we don't have a place for them.
When it was all said and done, Superior Walls placed 3 new buildings at T&Ds that they can finish as time and money allow. The new prairie dog enclosure had help from a local Eagle Scout.
This is the project that the Eagle Scout helped with.
Cool.
We already had it started, and then he raised funds for the metal and the wood and the windows.
There are lots of ways that you can help the animals at T&D's Cats of the World. Visit their website, www.tdscats.com, for lots of information. T&D's is staffed by the Mativ family. They have a small band of volunteers that help when the refuge is open to the public. And as Jennifer reminded us, many of these animals are cute, but they're all wild animals.
They all have teeth.
There you go.
You know, they all have teeth. Most of them have pretty good claws, meaning most animals have a pretty decent claws, and you know, they're a wild animal, so yeah, they can bite. Sure. You know, they can scratch. So there are animals here that we do not go in the pens with. We don't go in the pens with the lions, tigers, cougars, leopards, bears, or macaques.
T&D's Cats of the World is open to the public Saturdays and Sundays, May through September, from noon until 6. In June, July, and August, they will have 2 guided tours Monday through Friday, one at 10 a.m. and one at 2 p.m. If you want to learn more about the animals at T&D's and hear some of their stories, I highly recommend taking a guided tour. I know my family will be visiting T&D's this summer. It's a unique experience, a wild animal refuge right here in your neighborhood. I hope you enjoyed our tour of T&D's as much as we did. Be sure and visit us on Facebook or on our new website, www.ccnnews8.com. I'm your host, Jennifer Wakeman. Thanks for watching. Here are some of the things you'll see this summer on In Your Neighborhood. Find us on Facebook or check out our channel on YouTube, In Your Neighborhood, Wednesdays at 7 and Saturdays and Sundays at 1, exclusively on CATV Channel 8.